In this lesson, we are going to learn how to go live. And by that, I mean put those experiences we started creating on the web, online, so that everybody can access them. Because currently, those experiences can only run on your computer. So we already started creating cool stuff and we want to share it. We have many solutions. First, we're going to talk about traditional build. All right, we're not going to use those in the rest of the lesson, but still I want to talk about that. And by traditional, I mean traditional hosting solution like OVH, One-and-One, Gandhi, and there are many other solutions like that. The idea is that you will put the files by yourself on the host using a FTP client. All right, today we are using a more modern solution that we will see right after, but still many people, just like me, keep using those kind of old school traditional ways, and we need to have those files to put live. All right. The idea is that currently when you when you have your project, as you can see, we have all those files and we are not going to put those files live. Okay, those files are made for Webpack, for Node, for NPM. They run in your computer just well. As you can see, I have my experience running right here, but you can't just put those files on a traditional hosting solution like OVH, One-and-One, etc. We need to build the website. To build the website, first you need to open the terminal. So if you already have your experience running, by the way, you can use this one you can see here is the one from the previous lesson. So if you want to test it, you can simply run npm run dev on it. But from the terminal, instead of doing npm run dev, we're going to do npm run, and this time we're going to do build. What this build will do, let's wait a little so that it finishes doing the build. That's it. Don't mind the warning and vulnerabilities and stuff like that. What this will do is that it will run this script that you can see right here. This script that I wrote, it's a classic script that will use Webpack, but this time not to run a server to start developing things, but to build the final website and the final assets that you will be able to put online. All right, you can find those assets once the build is done in the dist folder. Those are the assets you need to put live. Okay, and you can just drag and drop them. You don't really need to dive into those to check the code, etc. You can delete them again. You can even delete the dist folder, and whenever you do changes, you open your terminal in the project folder, obviously, and you do npm run build. You wait a few seconds, so let's wait a few seconds again, and you will get the new dist folder. Don't worry if you already had the dist folder, it will override it, and you can just take the files again. So let's go. The dist folder has been built, so I have a lot there. Let me just do some cleanup, and then we can just take those files and put them online. All right, that's all, and you can start using those files. You will get only HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all assets like fonts, textures, images, etc. Okay, cool. We are not going to use that solution. Still, if you need, you can. We are going to use Vercel. All right. It's a more modern solution that we will discover together if you don't already know Vercel. The idea is that it's the kind of modern hosting solution that we see today, and I will explain to you what I mean by that, what I mean by modern. The idea is that there is a continuous integration. If you don't know about continuous integration, it's actually a lot of things, but as an example, the idea is that it automatizes the testing, deployment, and things like that. All right, the idea is that you code and you push. I will explain to you where you push those, and you have tests being run to make sure that you didn't break anything. It goes inside to a development environment, a pre-production environment, or preview environment, and then there is more testing being done. And if all the tests are good, then it deploys automatically to the live version, etc., etc., etc. That's the idea of continuous integration. You just code and things get done automatically, and make sure that everything is working fine. Vercel is also very developer friendly, as you will see a bit later. It's very easy to set up. We will do that together, but still you can do it on yourself, but I will explain to you. And you can use Vercel for complex or very simple projects. In our case, it's going to be useful for very simple projects because all we have is WebGL, a simple experience, one page. So it's perfect for us, but still you can use Vercel for more complex projects if you need. By the way, there is no partnership between Three.js Journey and Vercel. It's just that I use Vercel for my experiments. When I do fun, cool experiments, I like to put those live, and I always use Vercel because it's working just fine and it's easy to set up. Also, by the way, there are alternatives, and the two main alternatives, there are many other alternatives, right? But the two main alternatives I recommend are Netlify, which works exactly the same. You can totally test it if you like, and GitHub Pages. And GitHub Pages also works the same. It's kind of a bit more complicated sometimes, but still it's totally usable. But also if you are using GitHub, well, it's perfect. It's going to be even more easy. I'm going to talk a bit more about GitHub right after. Finally, one more warning. You might see slight differences between the video you're watching right now and your experience with Vercel, all right? We are going at some point to install a dependency on the project, and we will run some commands, and Vercel will ask us stuff. We will also go on the Vercel website, and Vercel is quite new. I mean, it's been a while, but still it's quite new compared to other hosting solution, and it keeps evolving, which is good, but you might have some differences. So you might need to dive a bit by yourself, search for the button, maybe the wording is different. So be aware of that. Okay, let's go. We can create an account. So if you don't already have an account on Vercel, let's go. Go to vercel.com. And well, you can sign up. So let's go. And you have many solutions, as you can see here. So which solution to choose? We have continue with GitHub, continue with GitLab, continue with Bitbucket, and the small one that you can't see much is continue with email. If you don't know what GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket are, the idea is that those are hosting solutions for your Git repositories. We are not going to learn how to use GitLab, Bitbucket, GitHub, and Git, because we could talk about that for, I don't know, between 5 and 50 hours. So it's not the purpose of this course. But the idea is that those are Git hosting solution. When you code, well, you code on your computer, but if your computer dies, well, you lost all your code. You can use Git to create a history of your project, meaning that when you do changes, Git will save those changes. Still, it's still on your computer. If your computer dies, you throw it by the window and you lose all your code. By using GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and there are others, by the way, you're saving this code, so this history, on those hosting solutions. So if your computer died, you delete all your code, do not worry, your code will be available on those hosting solutions. That's the idea. You should use one of those. The most popular one being GitHub. GitLab is very good. Bitbucket, I'm not a big fan, but still, those are great solutions. And you should use them. So if you already use one of those solutions, you should totally go for GitHub Connect, GitLab Connect, or Bitbucket Connect. And you will also have some kind of bonuses because Vercel will automatically fetch your repositories and help you set the project you want to create. So you will have, let's say, this project on GitHub, and Vercel will help you set it up, and you will have almost nothing to do. And it will automatically update it when you push new version on the repository. This means that when you code, you do some changes, you push them, well, on, let's say, GitHub, Vercel will automatically know that you did the update and will update the live version automatically. So this is great. Still, to keep things simple and accessible for everyone, we are not going to use those solutions. So if you want to keep following this lesson, do not go for those. Connect. You can, once you created your your account with an email, you still can connect GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket. So don't worry, you can start by following the lesson and then later add GitHub Connect, GitLab Connect, or Bitbucket Connect. So yeah, to keep things simple for people that do not use Git solutions and Git hosting solutions, we are going to go for the email. So let's go. and we're going to follow the different steps. First, we need to provide, well, an address. I'm going to use my 3GS Journey Gmail account. So we go 3gs.journey@gmail.com. So you can follow the same step with me. Don't hesitate to pause, obviously, if you need. And I'm going to validate. And now what you need to do is go on your mail. You receive an email and you need to verify it by clicking on this button. All right, make sure that it's the same one, but it's supposed to be Elegant. So you will have a different one. So for me, it's Elegant Crane. I just click on verify. Okay. And it should be good. Let me see. Your email was confirmed. You may close this window. All right. Yeah. So this, I click on the link. It opened this one. I can close this one and then access the previous page when I was registering. And I have those. All right, cool. So this is, at this part, you might already have some slight differences. Do not worry, you will get it. Okay, nice. So what do we need to do now? We have an account. That's great. Keep in mind that, oh, by the way, we have a name already set here. You can change those. You can start diving into the different settings of the account, etc. But now that we have our account, we want to put our project live. So we need to add Vercel to our project. So let's go. Vercel is available as a NPM module, as you can see right here. Okay, so we need to add this dependency to our project. Actually, we can install it globally on the computer if you want. It's up to you. You have the choice. You can put it globally on your computer, but then if you share your project with someone else, Vercel won't be on the project, and this person, if this person wants to put it live, will have to install this npm dependency on the computer too. All right, so it's up to you. The two different usage, you can install it globally or you can install it on the project. I'm going to install it on the project. So let's go. You open your terminal and you do npm install or just npm I, and you do Vercel. Okay, you press enter and it will add Vercel, which is more precisely Vercel CLI, sorry, to the project. All right, cool. So now, how do we use Vercel? I'm going to close this one just for a moment. We are going to add a new script. Just like we had the build script and the dev script, those are scripts that I created for the template for the course. We're going to add a new one. So I will show you how to do that. We are going to call it, let's say, deploy, because when we are going to call npm run deploy, it will deploy automatically to the web. Great. And the command to do is Vercel. So this one will use the dependency we just added, -- prod. All right, don't forget the comma right here between the scripts. We are adding -- prod so that when we call this command, it will put directly to the production environment of Vercel, because, by the way, Vercel do support different environments, and you can have a preview of an environment so that you can test easily if your website is working well as expected, and if it does work perfectly, well, you can go live. Okay, so it's already supported by Vercel. We don't really care about that. We are not going to go too deep into Vercel. We just want to put it live, and that's all. Okay, cool. So we created this script. Now we can call this script and do npm run deploy. Here you can choose which solution to connect, because right now, yes, you do have an account on Vercel. That's great, but your computer, your terminal doesn't know yet, which account to connect with. So you can use the arrows and choose which one, which solution you want. We went for the email, so we will choose the email solution. So move the arrow on the continue with email and press enter. All right, now you need to put the same email that you used right before. So for me, it's 3gs.journey@gmail.com. And it does exactly what it already did, which is sending us an email. So right now the terminal seems stuck. Do not do anything on the terminal. Go check on your emails and you will receive the same kind of email we just did right before, where you need to click on verify. So click on it, you just wait a moment, and as you can see, the terminal just moved on. Because it's the way of Vercel to connecting. You don't need to put a code somewhere or whatever. You just click on the link, and now Vercel knows that it's okay, and we move on. So we can close this page and continue. So set up and deploy. Yes, right here we need to choose yes. We're just confirming that we want to deploy this project. Always make sure that you're on the right folder. So for me, it's 14 exercise. So we press Y. If you put a -y, don't worry, it's going to work. I mean, lowercase y is going to work. Which scope do you want to deploy to? By the way, you can have multiple scopes, which are kind of multiple accounts, which are kind of links to teams. So there is big things about that. By default, you will only have one, which is the account that has been already, that you have created. With a default scope, you can just press enter. All right, link to existing project, no, because we don't have any project. So we press no. We need to choose a project name. So by default, it will take the name of the folder. For me, it's exercise, so it's pretty bad. Let's change to, well, we need something. It's about 3D text. Yeah, we can do something like 3D text. WebGL 3D text. Just like that. In which directory is located your code? So it's the same directory. So / mean it's inside the same directory. You can press enter again. You wait a moment because files are being uploaded right now. No framework detected because we are not using any framework like Vue.js, React, or things like that. Still, we need to provide some information. Those are the default commands that will be done by Vercel, because currently Vercel is uploading all the projects, not the dist, just like we did before for the traditional hosting solution. It's uploading this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing, and it will build on Vercel side. Okay, it will do what we do, what we just did with the build on our computer. Vercel will do that on its side. So Vercel provides you the default command. So the build command will be npm run Vercel build or npm run build. This is our command. So it's great. We use the same command. It's build. If we had used a different one, I don't know, we call it this one Toto, well, we would have need to change this one. Okay, cool. The output directory for Vercel, the default one, is public, which is not our case, because when we run npm run build, everything, the bundle, will be moved to this folder, the dist folder. So we need to change this information. It's not public, it's dist. And the development command, there is none. We don't really care about this one. So the question is, do we need to change information? Yes, we need to change this one. So let's go, we press Y and we press enter. So now we need to choose which one we are going to change. The idea is that you can use the arrow to move up and down, and you need to press space to set the one you want to change. We want to change the output directory. We don't want to change the build command, and we don't care about the development command. And we press enter. And now we can provide a new output directory. In our case, it's dist, just dist. All right, no slash, no things like that. It's just this. Before it was public. For Vercel, the default one is public. For us, it's dist, the folder dist. And we press enter. Then it starts deploying. So you can wait a moment. I'm going to speed up the video, probably. All right, so as you can see, it's done. Here's the URL. So by default, it will take the name of the project and add the vercel.app. You might have some differences there, especially if this URL already exists. And by the way, as you can see here, it has been copied to the clipboard automatically. Okay, so if you just press Ctrl V on any URL like this one, and you open it, as you can see, your project is now live, and that's cool. That was super easy. Every time you want to change it, let's say you change the text, you change the textures or something like that, you will go to the terminal and run npm run deploy. You wait a few seconds, and it will deploy automatically. All right, cool. Let's go just slightly further. We are going to see some settings about that. So I'm going to close this one and I'm going to go on Vercel. So you can do just like me and go on Vercel. You can go to the dashboard, so you can click there on your name. I hope it's going to be the same link for you, but otherwise just search a bit. I'm sure you will find it. And as you can see, here's our project. So if you have other projects on Vercel, do not worry, you will get many projects here and you can go into those projects. So if you check this one, as you can see, there is no Git repository connected. You can connect one, you can use GitHub or whatever to connect your project. I will let you discover that on your own. We can go on the project itself. First, you can see that we have a preview. That's cool. So we can see that it's working. You have information like, well, how to access it. You can also click on the pictures to go on that version. You know the state. If there are some errors, you will see those errors here. You have some information where you can find everything here. You can also go into options here. You can have some analytics, settings, deployments, and everything. And you will see some potential errors. So just check there if you have any error and check the settings if you need. By the way, you can also add a custom domain because right now Vercel created a domain using vercel.app at the end. You can totally add your own domain if you need, like if it's for a client or a real project, not just an experiment that you want to share live. You can add domains and I will let you discover that on your own because it's very specific to how you want to handle the domains. Do not worry, Vercel is very easy to use for that. And you can even buy a domain on another solution and use it for your Vercel project. All right. But wait, is everything free? You might ask. Yes and no. You can access the different pricing on this page, vercel.com/pricing. I hope it's going to be the same. So it will look more like this for you. All right. The idea is that if you just want to share some WebGL experiences with no commercial intent, you can use the free plan, which is named Hobby, and it will be just fine, just like we did. And you can add as many projects as you want. It will keep working. So that's great. It's perfect for those small expenses we are doing. Be careful, the Hobby plan has a bandwidth and build time limitation, meaning that if you get a lot of attention, you get like thousands and thousands of people accessing your website, well, it will use a lot of bandwidth, especially if you have some huge assets for models, for textures, things like that. You will use a lot the bandwidth. At some point, Vercel will send you emails like, be careful, you're using way too much bandwidth. You need to use a paid plan. And if you go, well, too high, your website won't work anymore. So that's the limitation. The limitation is quite high, all right? But just keep an eye on it. The build time is when we do the deploy. As you can see, Vercel will build the website on its side. And it takes time. As you can see, it took something like 45 seconds, which include also the upload. So it took some seconds to build the website. You have a limitation with that too. All right. So if you do that 100 times a day, or maybe 1,000 times a day, or maybe you have a whole team doing that a lot, you might have some issue at some point. You can also choose to deploy, I don't know, maybe twice a day and you will be just fine. Okay, so those are the limitations. If you go above those limitations, you will need to take one of those paid plan. So also if you have some commercial intents or you want to go below those limitations, well, you can go for the Pro or the Enterprise solutions. And by the way, there is a free trial if you just want to test, and you can cancel it if you need. All right, that's it. Now, no excuse, you can share your experiences, and I hope you will. So share your work with your friend, your family. If you do on Twitter, please use the 3GS Journey hashtag. I will be glad to retweet your experiences. You will do create really cool experiences in the rest of the course. So please do it. It's free. You can use Vercel. You can actually use any solution. And by the way, you can also share them on the members only Discord server. If you want to share it with us, we will be glad to see it and maybe provide you some feedbacks. And I will see you in the next lesson.